gratitude and health. So we're in the middle of 21 days of celebration, and it's just 21 days dedicated to finding at least one thing to be grateful for. And gratitude has not always been prevalent in my life. Um, you say thank you to someone for doing something, or thank you for something happening, but you don't really think about the power behind the words thank you, and just being in that state of gratitude and appreciation. So appreciating an effort, appreciating your efforts, appreciating a situation that happened. Like literally just sitting and seeing the good in something, why it happened, how it happened, why it happened to you, why something didn't happen. Because we can be grateful that certain things didn't happen as well. So, really honing in on gratitude and the power that being in a state of gratitude can have. So, per usual, I've got some notes. They're a little bit more frantic than normal, so we're gonna see how this goes. But we're in June, as I said, and I have to start this kind of where this whole gratitude thing started for me. And really, it was with Abraham Hicks. So you've heard me talk about Abraham Hicks before, in several instances. Like I'm going to credit them for a lot because I listened to them daily for years, and that was really the first thing that flipped my mindset and really got me to appreciate different ways of thinking from where I was. I was definitely in victim mode. I was definitely, not taking accountability for things. Didn't know to take accountability for things, and then other things did not take accountability for, whether I knew to or not. But the mindset shift that I was able to gain through their work, so through their teachings, was for me priceless, and really, really kind of sits at the core of why gratitude is so important for me today. So, I'm going to start with talking about kind of the vibrational scale. And by vibrations, I mean like megahertz. So, I know people oftentimes talk about like solfeggio frequencies, and I work with tuning forks, and each of the forks has different tunes on them, or different megahertz tones on them. You can listen to different frequencies for different reactions in the body. Sound is powerful. Well, we also talk about vibrational states or emotional states of being, also on a megahertz scale or a frequency scale. And when I first learned about this, it made sense because I have a science background. So, well, my degree is in exercise science, but I took physical science, life science, physiology, anatomy, chemistry. So, if you're in chemistry or have any sort of familiarity with the concepts in chemistry, you will remember the kind of beginning when you're in your first few days and you're learning about kind of water and properties and how things are liquid or solid or gaseous. And when things are cold, they're moving pretty slow. When they're hot or heated, the atoms inside move faster. It's the same thing with the vibrational scale. So, the vibrational scale is obviously vibrations of emotions, so it's more energetic in nature. And it labels emotions or states of being according to the frequencies that they are they are at. So like a number scale. So lower, and this is not like lower vibe. I know in the meta world you hear, um, low vibe versus high vibe. This is kind of what they're talking about, but not always. But I'm going to say lower and slower. So lower vibration, lower kind of frequency emotions like fear or anger or depression or anxiety or sadness. Those are kind of like lower on the scale. And then higher on the scale are enlightenment, love, joy, acceptance. So you can imagine the differences that we feel when we're kind of on either end of the spectrum. And kind of the point being the slower or the lower vibration, the fear, the shame, the depression, those are low and slow. And then the higher ones, love, joy, enlightenment, acceptance, are faster. They're higher, obviously, because the number is higher. So when you're just vibing out, you're flowing, you're in alignment, things are good, you're just there, you're in your vortex, so to speak. That is that's the joy, that's the gratitude, that's the acceptance, that's the enlightenment. Love sits about 500. Love and acceptance sits at about 500 on the scale, and enlightenment is considered like the top. So it's like 700 and up or 740 and up. That's what we're talking about. The frequency of kind of gratitude, love, appreciation. We're talking about those higher frequencies, which actually move really fast. And when you're in that state, you know what I mean. There's freedom. We're not judging, we're not thinking, we don't have any restrictions. The atoms are moving, the water is boiling. There's lots going on. It can seem frantic, but it's fast. There is order, but it's fast. So understanding this and understanding where gratitude fits in. Again, for purposes of conversation, I'm kind of putting gratitude at like that 500 mark about like love. So, and your your fear, sadness, depression, that's like 300 and below, like 1 to 300 ish area. So, coming from this place of gratitude, you could imagine the benefits that could come, the changes that you might experience, just like the completely different things you would see by operating from this place, that 500 ish and above place, rather than operating from that lower or kind of slower place, the 300 and below. So being able to see, even if it's just the silver lining in a situation, is a start, because that is gratitude. Like being able to say, you know what, I see there's something positive here, and I can be grateful for that. It's the and I can be grateful for that part that's the key. So being able to see something positive is totally cool. Like that's the first potentially good that comes out of a situation. But really being able to say, I see that, and I can be grateful for what happened. Now there are certain instances where I have not been able to see, actually most instances, most instances until recently, where I was in like a tricky situation or in something that was just an awful situation and could not see how anything positive or good would come from it. But now I can kind of reflect and look back and be like, you know what? I'm glad I'm not there because, but I'm glad I went through that because I'm grateful because now I have the tools, now I have the experience, now, I met this person, or it's calmer in my life because that person isn't in my life anymore. Like, but I still gained something from them. Like, there's still something good that came from it. Every experience is a learning experience. So you don't have to, but it's to our benefit to recognize that. So, whether it's just finding the silver lining in the situation, to being really intentional to focus dedicated time each day to like reflect on your day, or even take several minutes out of your day and really appreciate what's going on, even if it's the smallest thing. Abraham calls this a rampage of appreciation, and I love the rampage of appreciation because it's a very simple tool to use to really get in the place of, ah, I'm okay. I'm okay. Everything is fine. I'm fine. The sky is not falling. I'm okay in my world. And really, it's about finding one thread and then pulling another thread, pulling another thread, pulling another thread. So I can give you a quick example. I'm not going to go on for long because you could do a rampage of appreciation for like 30 minutes and work yourself up and like be in complete bliss and, not get anything done. But something as simple as, I'm so grateful for this chair. I'm grateful for the support that the chair gives me. I'm grateful for the, the cushioning and the soft support that it offers. I am so grateful that I have support in my life beyond this chair. I'm so grateful that I am supported in more ways than I know. I'm so grateful that support comes to me even when I don't ask for it consciously. It just arrives. And I'm so grateful knowing that I don't even have to ask. I just have to be and receive the things that come to me. I'm so grateful that things come to me with ease. I'm so grateful that the things that I want and desire come to me with ease and they don't have to be difficult. I'm so grateful that I know that I can create things with ease and that I've created things throughout my life with ease, and I have so many years of proof that it is possible and that I can do it over and over and over, and that I have done it over. And I can experience the good and I can show others to experience the good. I'm grateful for knowing that I can do that and others can do that, so we can create more for ourselves. So you just take it and you run with it, and whatever comes to mind, you can say what you're grateful for. But in the end, you realize there's so much good that you have in your life. Now, this didn't come easy to me. This did not come easy to me. I will tell you that. Like I said, I used to listen for years and hours to them talk about how there's so much good and walk others through, you know, ways to appreciate their life. So it comes a little bit easier now because I've been practicing. But it's something that you could try to see some good in your day, in your life, and the people around you, because it's possible. And you can start from, I'm so grateful that I have this comfortable chair that I'm sitting in, and end up, you know, I'm grateful for all of the ripples that I can create out into the world because I'm being myself. And I'm grateful that I can be myself and, you know, feel comfortable doing that. Like, you take it anywhere you want it. But the key is being able to see the good and appreciate it. So this is something that I've done for years, as I said, and it actually started with daily gratitude journaling. Just really simple gratitude journaling, and the process and practice have evolved over the years, which is perfectly fine. We all evolve. Sometimes we do things, sometimes we don't because we just get distracted. But for me, it did start with daily gratitude journaling. And it really was just as simple as trying to write out 5 things that I was grateful for each day. I would do it at night before I went to bed. And for me, that felt good because I was able to reflect on my day, like I was able to examine my day and really say, okay, there was some good, let me find the good, and just write 5 things. I also would say, I'm grateful for today and I'm grateful for tomorrow. So, well, no, that's not how I said it. I'm grateful for today. Oh, and for having a good night's sleep and for everything that's going to happen tomorrow. So I would intend a good day. So a good sleep, waking up restfully, rejuvenated, and a good day the next day. So just intending for the next to be good, just as what you experienced was good. We'll get into that a little bit later because I have a little hack that I've been using for creation. But the daily journaling has evolved because, like I said, it started at night, and now I actually do it in the morning. For the last 2.5 years, I do it in the morning because I reflect on the previous day, and then I've added some elements which 21 Days of Gratitude will kind of expand on. But I do it in the morning now, but there was a time where I had a little, I'll say it was a little box that I kept in my bathroom. It wasn't actually a box, but it was like a little kind of empty kind of keepsake box that, you get at Target in the dollar section. And when I walked into the bathroom and saw the little box, that was my reminder to be grateful. And I would have little kind of slivers of paper where I would write down things that I was grateful for or a person I was grateful for, and I'd put it in the box. And then every so often I would empty it and kind of read through the little slivers of paper. And those were things that I could reflect on and be like, okay, yeah, things are good. I'm okay. Things are going all right. Donnie, hello. I hope you're well. Thank you for stopping by. So the little box, it was a good trigger for me because sometimes we need verbal cues. We need to remind ourselves that we want to do things, or we have told ourselves we're going to do a practice, and sometimes we just forget. So that was a good visual cue, and I put it in the bathroom because the bathroom was the first place I went in the morning, and usually the last place I went before I went to sleep. So that made sense. So that was really, really helpful for a time, and then I didn't know what to do with the slivers of paper because I wanted to keep them, but I also wanted to keep a record of what was going on. So then I went back to the journal. So it all ends up with the journal. But morning for me is what has stuck. So for anyone else, you can feel it out, morning or evening, as to how it feels good for you. And these things that I write, it's, I'm grateful for a person, I'm grateful for an interaction that I had, I'm grateful that, my body responded positively to something, or that I was aware that my body responded positively or negatively. It could be, I'm grateful for a meal, I'm grateful for an experience, just really anything is what I write down. Sometimes I write kind of some of the same things just as reminders, but a lot of time it is, a person, an interaction, or, something else. But it's all relevant. It's all worthy of gratitude, and it's all relevant because anything that gets our momentum going in this instance works in our favor. And that's why I started 21 Days of Gratitude. So it seems to make a little bit of sense because it's my birthday month. And like many others, I never really celebrated myself. Like, I had accomplishments and be like, yeah, yeah, I did a good job. But rarely did I say, you know what, that was good, I'm proud of myself, and, I'm going to do something to celebrate that. So, even though I had been doing the daily gratitude, ooh, I dedicated a crystal to holding the feeling of gratitude and never had a journal dedicated. Oh, that's so cool. A crystal to hold the feeling of gratitude. I love that. I love that. I've never heard of that, but I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah, I get called to hold certain crystals at certain times. This sphere is like not separating from me for the last week. Um, I actually don't remember what it's made out of, but it's called a healer stone, a healer sphere, and I have it on my desk. And yeah, it's been like my buddy nonstop for the last week and a few days. So I'm a big fan of crystals and like holding the intention of something. I'll have to see if any of mine want to hold gratitude though. I'm gonna try that. Thank you for that suggestion. Yeah, it's very pretty. It's like it looks like citrine. I don't know if it's citrine. I'll have to ask. Uh, I'll have to ask Crystal what it is because I don't remember. I saw it and I was like, that's mine. That is mine. So I will report back. So the celebration, the intentional celebration of self in 21 Days of Gratitude. So how this started was I realized that I was doing daily gratitude. I was like, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for my body, I'm grateful for this person, all these things. But I never really said I'm proud of myself for. And that really got me thinking. And I was like, wait a minute. I'm grateful, 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 but like I'm doing things, I'm accomplishing things. I need to be proud of myself. Because I'll say I'm proud of you to other people without a heartbeat. I'm like the best cheerleader for someone. But I wasn't being a good cheerleader for myself. So that's where the 21 Days of Gratitude came from because I needed to find a way today is worthy of gratitude. But I wanted to be deliberate about it. I wanted to really investigate. So if you know me, I'm not afraid of getting out the hard hat and the shovel, digging in all of the deep, dark, ugly, hard places, and finding the things to talk about, uncover, and heal. So that's what I do in this process. And it's evolved because this is the third year that I'm doing the 21 Days of Celebration. And each year it's been different because I learn something new about myself. I find more things to be grateful for. And it only gets better. So it's like, how does it get better than reflecting, seeing that you've been good this whole time, you're going to continue to be good, and you get to create more things from that space of knowing that you're good and you're covered. So the lensing that I've picked up over the years in this process has changed, but the intention has not. It's still deliberate gratitude. It's still finding something different each day to investigate and to celebrate. And not only has that helped just appreciate people in my life. Helped me understand why certain things have happened, release certain things that have happened, open up to new ideas about what's possible. Just overall more appreciation for life, what life has to bring, what life has to offer, and the process that we take to navigate this thing called life. So, from a health perspective, I had to change my mindset because like I said in the beginning, was in victim mode. I was in like complacency, yeah, like complacency, not really comfortable, but just like, this is it and I'm figuring it out. We're okay. Like we'll make this work. Like that's where I was. A little frustration, there was some shame, there was some embarrassment, there was some anger, there was a little fear, but I was definitely on that lower end of the spectrum. I was not vibrating very high on that frequency scale. So from that place of thinking that I've been duped, my body's, attacking me, my body's doing things, that I've done something wrong, to one of my body is constantly supporting me, it wants to help me, it's possible to relay information back and forth, it's possible to have a healthy, loving relationship with my body, like going from that lower place to the higher place, you have to have a different mindset. So that's really, really, really what I had to learn first to even start to tackle anything health related. Mindset and emotions and beliefs. Like those were the things that really, really, really jump started everything. Yep, being grateful for what I have now in the present. Yes. Yeah, the phrase, the saying, bloom where you were planted. It took me a while to really understand and like internalize that, because oftentimes we just want different. We know there's different possible, so we just want different. We want better. We don't want to be where we are because where we are is not where we want to be. We know there's greener grass. We know there's fertilizer and fruit and animals grazing and all sorts of fun stuff on the other side. It's just not where we are, so we need to get over there. So whatever I need to do to get out of here to get over there is what I want. And you can't get there from there. Blooming where you're planted is really being grateful for what you have in the present. Finding the good in where you are. Even if it doesn't seem like there's anything to be grateful for, there's at least 1 to 3 things. And really, I had to understand that. I had to understand that and like purposefully call that out. So going from that, doomsday mindset to I'm actually taken care of. I'm actually supported. How did I get there? Well, lots of journaling. Lots of journaling, lots of Abraham. But giving myself permission to let go and being open to new things being possible. It was really just being open and having that inquisitive nature to explore new territory, explore new perspectives, and be willing to try them on and see what happens. So for me, for my health, for my body, from that place of, okay, so if my body is wanting to support me, then what? Now what? It's learning to appreciate the body for what it is. So I've ranted and raved about the body for it being, the ultimate machine of machines and its beautiful, complex nature and being just an amazing magical apparatus. Like I will say that and then some. until, I'm blue in the face. But this perspective shift has really helped me really understand kind of all the things that I learned in all the classes that I took, and science and the body and anatomy and all those things really helped me appreciate that, because I know the complexity that it takes for the body to function each day, and how smart the body has to be to have the systems, and then the backups to the systems, and then the backups to the backups to the systems. Like there's so many things that are interwoven, and so many intricacies that happen to get us to this upright state. Even more importantly, understanding that there are stimuli that our body react to just like anything else. If you don't pay a bill, your service is going to get cut. If you water a plant, the plant will grow with a little sunlight. If your body has a stimulus, your body will react to it. So sometimes we don't know how the body's going to react, or we just don't expect it to react in a way. We want it to do something, but it's doing something completely different. But it's going to react. So understanding this, and then having gratitude for the fact that like this is happening, that this is possible. For me, this made me like tap into my inner Sherlock Holmes. Like, get out the magnifying glass and get to work. Because I want to uncover, okay, what is the stimulus? What is the stimulus? Why is the body doing certain things? If I do this, then what will happen? If I take this out, what will happen? Enter alchemy. Like, being the ultimate super sleuth and scientist and alchemist is now exponentially increased, because you can turn it into a game. It's a mission to be like, if I do this, then what's going to happen? If this is the cause, what is the effect? If this stimulus is entered into the environment, what is the reaction? So going from a, oh, there's nothing I can do perspective to a, okay, if we're just responding to something, let's figure out what we're responding to. And then being grateful for that knowledge, first and foremost. And then grateful that there are answers that are coming. So again, rampage. I'm grateful that my body is responding to the things that I put in it and the environment around me. I'm grateful that my body can tell me what it wants and needs, and what it does and doesn't like in the environment, and what I'm giving to it for food and a stimulus. I'm grateful that my body has made me aware of this fact that there are things that it does and doesn't like. I'm grateful for my awareness and the information that I am able to receive to then make different choices. And I'm grateful that I have choice in the way that I work with, communicate with my body. Because it all matters. It all impacts our health and the way that we live. This whole kind of cause and effect thing it's really become a game for me. Sometimes in a really frustrating way, but sometimes it can be fun. Fun. Fun is definitely relative. It's encouraging. I'll say it's encouraging. Because you learn to really appreciate just the processes. You learn to appreciate that you can see certain things happen, and then you get excited because you get answers, and then you can try something different because you have an answer and you're a little further on your journey. So this was a few months ago, but I posted that I gained 4 pounds in a week, and I was excited about it. Now, it wasn't because I was like, oh my god, I'm trying to gain weight, I gained 4 pounds, yay body. It was because I changed something in my diet, and my body reacted. it got inflamed. It got puffy. And I was like, you know what? This is so cool. Because I knew exactly what I did. I went out to eat and I had more salt than I needed, but it tasted good. And I had a couple other things that I hadn't been eating normally in my diet. And my body was like, all right, cool, this is how we're going to respond. So instead of being like, oh my God, what I do, woe is me, I was like, whoa, it can happen that fast. Oh, okay, I realized that this happened. That's cool. And I have a really good sense of, what happened, what it did, what my body's responding to, why I did what I did. So it was like the opening of a whole new conversation because I was able to analyze what I did, what happened, and then know the consequences if I did it again. And if there was anything energetically that I needed to clear in my body around the food, the circumstance, the restaurant, the whatever, and any feelings I had about gaining the weight and what weight means in general, I now had the opportunity to clear those things too and investigate and evaluate what was going on. So I saw it as a huge opportunity because, albeit I would like to lose weight, I'm not going to be all up in arms because of the 4 pounds because I know exactly what I did and I know I can do different. It's just a choice. It's fine. So being able to have these mindset changes and then have tools, again, has been invaluable because things like this happen and it's like, ooh, okay, now what can I figure out? And thank you, body, for the awareness. Thank you for letting me know you didn't like that. Or if you did like it, this is what we're going to deal with. So I'm no longer making my body wrong about reactions like that. And I appreciate the knowledge that I've gained. I appreciate the awareness that I have about my body. I appreciate my body for responding. I know many of us, and me a few years ago, I would have been down in the dumps. I would have had all sorts of negative things to say about my body. I would have, probably complained and vented to several people. I would have been confused and frustrated and all sorts of things because I wouldn't have thought that there's anything I could do about it. And it's just not true. It's simply not true. So I'm no longer making myself, my body, and my experience wrong for the things that are happening. It all has a purpose, and in some schools of thought, we create these things so we can learn lessons. We have these experiences so we can go through and learn the lesson or shed the layer or help the person or whatever because there's something that we are meant to get on the other side of it, going through it and then on the other side of it. So I go through, I get the hard hat on, I get the shovel out, and I see what's going on. So what's been the impact of this whole gratitude thing? Well, there's been a few areas of improvement. Health, yes. I'm talking about mindset. So mindset is just invaluable in all of this. Being able to kind of flip that switch to one of empowerment from victim has just been invaluable for me. Like, I'm going to keep saying that word, but that's the best word that I can think of because it's helped me not only with mindset with health, but mindset just in general. So health improvements, I mean, obviously, if I'm now looking at my body as something that I can have a relationship with rather than something that I'm condemning, I can now open up several avenues of exploration. So being able to change my diet, being able to help others change their diets. Being able to understand how my body reacts to different types of foods. Yeah, attract more of what you need in life. Absolutely. Relationships with others. Me finding gratitude in the things that happen in my life has helped me interact with people in a different way. It's helped me appreciate people in a different way and what they're going through, and then show them how they can find the good in what they're experiencing as well. But the attracting more of what we need in our lives. So yeah, I actually do want to talk about that because I had it written as we increase our kind of exposure to things. So new ideas, new people, new opportunities, etc., etc., etc. It helps us attract more of what we want and more of what we need so we can ultimately get to where we're, supposed to be going. And that's the bloom where you're planted. It's finding all the good, and when you find the good, you're vibrating at that higher frequency. You attract the things that are in that higher frequency. Maybe indirectly at times, but you're exposed to different things than you would be exposed to if you were in, that 300 and below megahertz range. So you're attracting more, you're moving faster, you're aligning with your purpose and what you're supposed to be doing. I keep saying supposed to be doing, but it's just more like figure of speech, not actually supposed to. And things are just in flow. So we change our perspective, we change our mindset, we are grateful, we meet new people. We say we are exposed to new and different ideas. When we're exposed to new and different ideas, we try new things, we expand, we get out of the comfort zone. We take aligned action. When we take aligned action, we're open to more new, ideas and opportunities. We meet new people. We expand a little bit more. All starting from being grateful for what we have now in this moment. And it rubs off on others. So the more you do it, other people see it and they're like, well, what are you doing? And then you tell them, and it's like, well, I'm starting to be a little bit more intentional with my gratitude, changing my mindset. Things are working out. I'm seeing that things are working out more often, more frequently, and I'm claiming it. So, and this is my experience with it. People see that, and they want some of it. They want some of it. So one hack that I have done, and I mean this not like secret, but it's a little bit of a hack, is I say I'm grateful for things that I'm in the process of manifesting. So when I talk about it, and this is like Law of Attraction 101, act as if. But in the daily journaling, writing, I'm grateful for, my 5-bedroom house that I feel so comfortable and inspired in. I don't have a 5-bedroom house, but if I can get behind the energy of that 5-bedroom house and how I'm going to feel in that 5-bedroom house and inspired and free and flowing and, grateful and expansive, like if I can get behind that, then yeah, I'm writing that down and it's going to connect me to all of the pieces and parts that I need to connect to get to that 5-bedroom house, if, so to speak. So I thank the thing for its presence, even though it isn't physically there. Energetically, I know it's there. Energetically, it's on the path. We're kind of there, we're kind of not. It's there. I'm just not there yet. I'm not vibrating at the frequency of that thing, But I say, you know what, thank you for being in my life anyway, and that helps me pull it a little bit closer, even though it's not there yet. And then I do my best to energetically align with it, what I think the energy is going to be every single day, all day, every day, as much as I can. And the subconscious doesn't know the difference. The subconscious knows the feeling, the subconscious knows the emotion. So it doesn't know that the thing isn't actually present. It just knows, oh, they're acting, you know, happy. Happy could be because of something that's right in front of your face, or it could be something that, you know, could be yours in a year from now. Your subconscious doesn't know the difference. The subconscious knows, oh, okay, this is happy. All right, we're going to be happy. Let's attract the happy things. Just as much as excitement, anxiety, fear, those all, well, depending on how you are reacting, like surprise and anxiety can actually be the same, that it, like it can feel the same way. So understanding that your kind of your body, your subconscious doesn't always recognize the difference in the so-called positive and the so-called negative. And that's kind of where like people get a little frustrated with manifestation, because you can manifest good and you can manifest bad because your body doesn't recognize always the difference between the higher and the lower. So that's why it's important for us to intentionally be kind of in that higher place and be there as much as possible. Okay, so we energetically align with what we're creating, and it doesn't matter if it's there or not. We just act as if and say, thank you for being in my life now. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because it's there now. It exists now. We're just kind of on the outskirts. We're not quite in the vicinity yet, but it exists. So I say thank you for existing. And from that place, we can create more. We can create more, we can create more, we can create faster, and we can create more and tap into the infinite nature of everything that is possible. Because really that's what we want to do. Like, that's where the fun is, right? So I've talked about kind of this around 500 megahertz frequency area, 500 plus. And that, I said that's where love is. And I've actually been looking at kind of the role of love and alignment in the healing process. And this all kind of fits, because like love, acceptance, gratitude, alignment, well, alignment, I'm throwing that in as my own word, but love, acceptance, gratitude, those are all kind of in that 500 area. And when we tune into that frequency, we actually have our bodies recalibrate. Like the cells can recalibrate to the frequency of love, and that can facilitate healing. So I was listening to, I don't know what podcast it was. I was listening to a podcast. I'm gonna find it again because this was fascinating. But there have been studies of like water. So you play music and then you put water on. You measure the frequency of the water or something. You play the music. So like sometimes it's heavy metal, sometimes it's rap, sometimes it's classical, and like the water responds in a different way, depending on the music and then the frequency, kind of like the frequencies emitted from the music. The water responds differently, and kind of the atoms take different shapes, and with I think it was like the happier or like less aggressive music in some instances, the water created like snowflake flakes that were just like beautiful patterns. And there have also been studies like this on cells, like cells in the human body. And I might butcher this, so I'm going to have to find the source. So I will find the source and report back. But it was about using that frequency of love to help facilitate and accelerate the healing process, and how allowing ourselves to receive the frequency of love, like really receive it, allowing that in and then receiving it, which allowing and receiving are, those are, those can be two completely different cans of worms. But really allowing ourselves to accept that, receive it, and like really let it sink in, that impacts the cells in our body, just like it was impact the like classical music and happy upbeat music was impacting the water and making the beautiful snowflakes. So knowing that something like that is possible, like our cells, like down to the cellular level, can react in a positive way to heal faster, just from experiencing this frequency, allowing this frequency into our fields and having it. Even if it's not constant all day, every day, but having it. Imagine what is possible. And imagine not only just the feeling, but the good and the things that would shift in your health, in your life, and maybe even for others. So it's something that I've been kind of playing with, like the role of kind of love and that frequency, because it's right there with gratitude, in the healing process itself. So what I'd be looking for is like studies on being able to measure that. So like a scientific study to be able to measure that, and maybe the percentage of improvement if someone experience something in a loving manner and then experience something in like a negative manner. Like that's kind of where my brain goes. It's like, all right, let's see how that actually happens, because I know I've experienced that. Not necessarily being able to say, okay, these specific types of cells have healed faster as a result of, but I do know with the mindset shifts, with the gratitude, with the exposure to new and different ideas and people, I feel better. My body feels different. I'm able to recover from things faster. I'm able to seek out new and different opportunities just proactively on my own. There's so many different things that I'm doing now because I feel better, I feel more confident, I feel just like things are more possible. Not only like just reading it and theorizing about it, but like really believing that certain things are possible, whereas a few years ago I didn't. And gratitude can be credited to that. So being in that gratitude frequency, that love frequency, and being able to experience improvements, physically, energetically, psychologically, like all of it. I can't say it's scientifically proven, but for me, I have experienced that it works. So, how do we get more gratitude? We've talked a little bit about this. Gratitude journal daily. So, I'm going to harp on journaling because I journal. I've always been a writer. And, like, the power of the pen just, it's undeniable. So, daily gratitude journal. If you just get out a blank piece of paper and you don't have a journal, that's great too. There are guided journals. So you can have, I don't remember the name of it, but it has, there's like specific prompts in it, and there's several journals like that. where there's specific prompts that, you can do it for 30 days or 60 days or however long. But if you need more structure and you can't just kind of free free ball it, then there are several different options for you to, you know, have 3 things that I'm grateful for this, or 5 great things that I'm grateful for that, or like prompts that you can use on a daily basis to get that process started for you. Or get the little box. The little box was really cool. It was, you can get like a nice decorative box, put it in your bathroom, put it in the kitchen, somewhere where you know you're going to see it at least once per day. And that is your reminder, like, oh, okay, now now I need to find something to be grateful for. Or not need to find, but oh, this is my reminder to notice the things that I'm grateful for. You can even set a timer on your phone or set an alarm on your phone. Once a day, twice per day, to like in the moment. Okay, what's happening now? What's happening the last couple of hours? What can I say I'm grateful for? Anything that you can do in the moment, or to dedicate time to intentionally reflect and find the good. One thing I also like to do is affirmations. So affirmations get a bad rap, but I personally like them because, again, it's kind of a trick to the subconscious. Sometimes you don't believe everything that you're saying, but when you can get a little bit of that energy thread behind like the essence of the statement, that's where the magic starts to happen. So gratitude, the things that I'm grateful for, the things that I'm grateful for that I have now, and the things that I'm creating. So energetically they're there, they're just not physically in my presence yet. And affirming, I am magical, I am strong, I am grateful, I am, I have amazing opportunities. I'm grateful for the clarity that I have in my life. I am clear. I, have several opportunities, and I love being able to choose rather than be restricted. I love being open and having choice and feeling expanded in the choices that I have. I have so many opportunities. I have, people that help me all day, every day. Like, you can make I am statements, you can make I have statements, you can even do I'm grateful for statements. But it's the kind of declaration that you're looking for, and kind of the energy behind that, to say it confidently and to believe and to feel the love in what you're saying. The love, the power, the, whatever you're trying to embody or seeking to embody. Involve others. So sometimes it's hard to create a new habit. If you're doing it on your own, you can set an alarm, you can put a physical reminder, in the bathroom. That doesn't always help. So you can involve others. And whether it's doing it with a partner and, checking in once a week, or even just, getting on a text like, okay, what are you grateful for today? Okay, I'm grateful for this today. Involving others helps you build your practice, but it also just helps everyone feel better about things. And not just feeling better for the sake of feeling better, but like actually finding the good. And finding things that are working in life, because more is working than not. We just have to see it. And then lastly, this is kind of like it's more of like a sit and reflect exercise, but finding proof. Like making a list of things that you have been grateful for in the past. So this is like really, really looking at the past and examining what happened, what you're grateful for, and then why. So it's, easier, it can be easier to, reflect maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago on something that happened or a series of things that happened and be like, you know what, that was a good thing. I'm grateful because blah, blah, blah. You know what, I'm grateful that didn't happen because blah, 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 blah. And then when you get in the mode of that, of being able to kind of pick apart what happened, what didn't happen, why it was good, why certain things, ended up a way that they did, it might help you get that trigger going now for finding things in your present day life to be grateful for. So reflecting and finding the proof, and then using the proof as a means to find the good in present day. So that was a lot, but it's gratitude. I don't think you can have too much gratitude. One thing that I started doing when I had a team was just saying thank you. Saying thank you and just letting people know that I appreciate them, appreciate their efforts, and that thank you was a requirement for me, because I realized that the more that I outwardly showed and displayed appreciation for people, the more they would, one, like working with me, because they knew that I actually did appreciate them. Like, we were in it together, so we all need to appreciate other and like each other and, have a good vibe. But it really shifted, like, the tone of the work environment, because when people know they're appreciated, they work a little bit differently. We're more collaborative. We look out for one another. We watch our backs. We, give a heads up when something bad's coming. We give a heads up when something good is coming. We communicate more effectively. We open up the lines of communication and allow more authentic interactions to happen. So that's one thing that I do more intentionally now. I started this a couple years ago, but seeing the difference that it's had in kind of just select people in my life, that's why I'm saying, like, involve others and, like, the relationships will change. Not to get more out of people, but really just to come from that space of appreciation, and then organically things shift. Energetically things shift, but, like, organically relationships shift and evolve. And that's one thing that was really cool to see, is when you express the kind of outward appreciation for people's effort and just for being there, and understanding that everyone is coming from a specific place, and we all have different perspectives, and we all are going through things. You just appreciate the fact that people show up and give what they can give, because I know I'm showing up and giving what I can give on any given day. So just coming from that place of gratitude and just, like, operating from that space, letting people know you appreciate them, their time, their effort, their contribution, that also goes very far. And even the things that you learn from people. So, whether you're in a teacher role or a mentor role, thanking others for what you learned out of the experience, and, the contribution that they've been to you just as much as you've been to them. So kind of always being in that space of kind of giving and receiving, and appreciating the fact that you can receive in the first place, like, going from there. So I love gratitude now. I just never really knew how to sit within the feeling of it long enough for it to return its awesomeness. Oh, I love that. Yeah. And especially with other people. Yeah. Yeah, it goes with for us individually and with other people. But I love how you word that. To sit within the feeling of it long enough for us to return its awesomeness. Yeah. I love that. So that's gratitude. That's why gratitude means so much for me. And even, I'll say, even with this, like the most recent kind of 21 days of gratitude and celebration that we're in now, like some of the stuff that I'm saying that I'm grateful for, like I either hadn't reflected on for years, and I'm just like, whoa, or I never actually talked about it openly, and I'm uncovering things that are ready to be cleared and new layers that are ready to be revealed. So that actually happened for me yesterday, and I was like, wait a minute, there's still something here. I need to work through this. And it was all good because I worked through it in the video and after. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to reflect and uncover new layers of things all the time, because as I shed more layers, I expand and open more layers. And I open to new ideas, and I open to new possibilities, and, possible connections with people and opportunities, and all of that goodness. So, and I'm grateful for that. So, it's, um, it's a process. It's a process. And you're not always going to be grateful in the moment, and that's okay. That is okay. I definitely have moments where I am not grateful. I'm just like, why am I going through this again? Why haven't I figured this out? And then I have to, sit in that and be like, okay, well, it's one more thing that I get to figure out, and I know I'm going to figure it out. I just have to be in this now. I have to be grateful that I'm in this situation now. What's the silver lining? So it's still daily for me. But it is a process, and it is all good. So, gratitude. Tell me about your gratitude journey. I'm very curious if you have other perspectives, different perspectives about gratitude, and yeah, what I missed. So if there whatever I missed, I'm interested to hear some different perspectives on this, and even just how gratitude has shown up in your life. So let me know how you interact with gratitude. All right, take care.